Aloha, I'm Felicia Miller Johnson, and I conduct work life video interviews with career professionals that become an all intuitive conversation. Aloha, and welcome to another episode of All Intuitive Conversation. I connect with my guests through Sekhem Energy, all in the hopes of encouraging them and you to live smart and ascend to new levels of success in our work and our life. So today, I have the pleasure of connecting with my girl, Abigail. So let's bring her to the screen. Aloha!
Hello, my love.
How are you today?
Oh, I am feeling so good. I feel like I've been waiting for this moment like forever. I'm like trying to hold my excitement.
Well, for those that don't know, Abigail and I do know each other. We have connected before, just on a sisterly level, just to in this spiritual realm, especially here on LinkedIn, of connecting in this era, in this space that so we know each other. However, she has never been a guest on All Intuitive Conversation, and so we've never really done this aspect of it. So it's still exciting to learn and know how I can connect and learn more about, Abigail and what's just kind of going on. So, Abigail, so when I was connecting with you, this is something I had never done before, was I had looked up the meaning of your name, Abigail. I was like, what does that mean? Because what I found interesting was that you do not shorten
Mhm,
your name. You
mhm.
don't go by Abby, you don't go by Gail, but it is the whole full-fledged energy of Abigail. And so I wanted to start there. Do you know the meaning of your name?
I know it's Father's joy. That's what, yeah, that, yeah,
Yes.
that's.
Yes. Okay. Well, wow. Okay. So, yes, your name means father's joy. So, wanting to connect in that regard, tell me about a story that exude a father's joy.
I mean, immediately it takes me to the joy of me connecting to the divine. Like that's where it
Mm.
takes me to. And you know, I, that's something I talk about a lot. It is my livelihood. My connection to the divine is why I'm here. It's what keeps me going. It's what brings me hope. It's what brings me joy. Is the reason why I'm living life. Like it's like the air that I breathe, the water that I drink. Like when I envision the divine, I am right in the center of that consciousness. Like I'm not like hanging out outside. I'm like right in there, and I don't want to leave. You know.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's where it takes me. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because what first came up was the Ten of Coins, and there was just like all of these people just out and about. And it literally says financial security for yourself and your family, inheritance or retirement, peace and contentment in life, honoring family traditions, pride in the family tree, and passing on knowledge. So it
Whew.
has all of this family stuff immediately with that. Then what is interesting that I'm gonna take note of is that you initially talked about the divine overall spirit. A lot of times individuals will go just immediately just to our physical realm, our, father that we would like, donate, sperm and all that and made it, and that's what they just think about the father. So I love that you talked about this whole higher being in regards to that because there are different ways that we can look towards
Yes.
father. And so, and that came out with this whole love because the next card came out was this whole angel and this father. And it literally
Mm.
says on this card, embrace true love and deep, intimate friendships. Make choices from the heart, vibrant health and recovery from an illness.
Mm.
So when you talk about the divine father, love, energy, and being, what was that moment when you connected deeply, because I imagine that you didn't always probably have that connection to where you were at least conscious of that. So, what was that moment where you remember this really was my Heavenly Father, divine, showing love to me and knowing that He.
Girl, when did I not feel it? I feel like I was
Mm,
born into that energy. I came
mhm,
on this planet with that full like knowing of that connection,
mm,
like remembering that, like that feeling never left me. Like I
mhm,
remember that this connection, like moving down that cosmic womb to come to the earth.
uh-huh,
You know, when it's like when it comes to the spirituality and the physicality, spiritual stuff is like my reality. It's like that's what I know. That's like, that's where I live. It is the physical realm that is the hardest for me, which is what I'm here to master this lifetime, you know?
don't we all have
And
a
so,
lesson?
yeah. So,
Mhm,
you know, it's no surprise, especially the first card I wanted to point out, you
mhm,
know, I wanted to just like drink it in because it's such a confirmation of my path and what
mm,
what I've been trying to create, you know, not just for my family. Like family is very important to me, you know, both
mhm,
blood and also, you know, non-blood. Like it just is so important to me. And
yeah,
my whole goal is to create abundance, wealth, and prosperity so that I just bring all my family together around me. Like that is
mm,
my vision. So that picture right there, like I saw that and it's like, oh my God, I'm drinking it in. I'm receiving it. Yes,
yes,
yes.
yes, uh-huh, uh-huh. So, I'm hearing you, so always having that divine connection. But what has hurt your heart since you've been here on this earthly body?
Whew, a lot, but it's all based in my physical life. You know, of
Mhm,
course, physical family, you know. Um, like my parents traveled. They're both nurses, and so they had to travel to different countries to work so that we can have a better life in Ghana. And that's where, for those of you, just to fill in the concept, you know, I'm originally from Ghana,
okay,
and so we lived with my uncle and my one of my mom's sister, and it wasn't always easy. Like I feel like I skipped childhood and went into like took on the mama role because my sisters, I had two younger sisters at that time. Now I
mhm,
have three younger sisters, but um yeah,
mm,
and I just kind of like took on that role of protection and helping my uncle, just being of help, and being the oldest in the family. There was a lot that was expected of me, not necessarily even from my uncle. It was like from
mm,
everyone else around, and it was not an easy life at all.
mm,
Growing up, there's a lot that I've had to heal and move through, and oh my God, a lot of forgiveness. Some of them are still hard for me to completely release, like forgive and release, because it was so intense, the experience that they put me through. So yes, there's family, I mean, of course, there's the little relationships but it doesn't even compare when it comes to the hurt that family can put you through. You know,
mm,
these are the people that are supposed to protect you and know you and love you. And I'm lucky that my uncle was there for us. Like he is angel. Let's just put it that way. Like he
yeah,
on at a very young age, like what I think he was like 15 when he took three girls on. We were so young, and he's like, yeah, I'm
uh-huh,
gonna take care of them. And he took care of us all the way till we came to the US. Like that's a long time. And he was just like, I feel like for my sisters and I, he's like the role model of the type of men that we wanted.
yes,
It's just untouchable, but I'm glad that we had that constant pillar, of that masculine energy that we could look up to and really understand the positive masculine energy instead of the other, the negative part of it. But yeah, it was just a lot. Like my auntie, she put me through hell, like no
mm,
doubt. and then, everyone around too, because it was like the concept of you're the oldest of the family, your parents are abroad, so that means that you get all the good stuff, so we're not going to treat you good, kind of thing.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a lot of hurt there.
Well, it's going back because heart is very much running through your cards. Like I said, the first one was green, and then you got the lovers, but it's the green heart, and then the next one that came out was here was the Four of Wands, but it's more so what I'm looking at is this home in the background, but then there are boundaries, there are parameters
Mhm.
around here. And as you were kind of talking about your uncle, I'm hearing he's like leading this kind of dance in the life, right? But there is still this hedge of like protection um around you. But then what next came out was the theme of align. And the trigger statement says, I feel conflicted. And it's about centering, which goes back here about you kind of being in the middle and just centering your life. And the true statement says, I am true to my highest self, which goes back to initially what you were just saying. Like you have always known this connection with your higher self, you kind of channel through, like here on this earthen body, you've always been centered in that regard. And it says, your focus needs to turn within to reflect on stories that are not true for you. Love is the way through. Now, when I was connecting with you, I had got a chill because, like I said, the theme of this was align. The essential oil that I literally connected with today was align.
Align.
So I was like, okay, yeah. So this whole thing. So then the next one that came through talked about the theme of expansion. And the trigger statement says, I'm not enough. True statement, I love myself. It says, your tender heart is in need of care. Know that your body is here to help you experience miraculous life. Embrace it. Okay.
Mm.
So, very strong in your spiritual realm, and you're talking about your body and embracing that human experience. What is it that you can do to embrace this human experience even more?
It's been quite a journey. Let's put it that way. Um,
Mhm.
I went from like my spirit hanging out here and my human body just doing this thing
Yep.
to bring in all of me into this vessel and be like, oh my God.
Centering.
Yep.
Mhm.
Like, what am I doing? Like, how do I even operate this? Like, why do I want to be in this dense energy and
Mhm.
experiencing human pain and all sadness and grief and so it's been a journey of understanding that I cannot do what I came here to do if I am not in my body. My body is as important as my spirit. And so for
Mhm.
me, for example, when I'm dancing, it is a very divine act, but
You're
it's also very
dancing, yes.
physical.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh-huh. Yes.
It's also very physical where I'm bringing my body into my spirituality. That's those type of activities draw me in, and it's also things that are non-negotiable for me. So,
Mhm.
for example, like yoga, I never got it. And then I tried Kundalini yoga. And you know
Mhm.
how it really highlights the spiritual aspect of yoga, but you still move your body. And it's like
Mhm.
pulling spirit into your body and then kind of like, anchoring it and feeling it into your body. So anything that does that merges those two is like,
Mhm.
it's non-negotiable for me. Because if I don't do that, I cannot, like, with as much of spiritual wisdom and knowledge and that connection, like I wouldn't be able to be grounded in this physical reality to do what I'm here to do. Yeah.
Okay, so making sense. The dancing, the centering, that's how you do those different things. So the next question is coming through is, how do you define forgiveness?
Forgiveness is being in a state where you're able to, there's an understanding aspect of it where you understand that you and the other party were doing the best that they can. There's nothing you can do. Like, you have no control over the other person. And it's moving into a state where you realize that if you keep holding on to what they did to you, you are the one who's in shackles.
Mm,
When you release it, you are actually setting yourself free, and it has nothing to do with the other person. And so for me, when I tune into forgiveness, I let go of that thing that you have to forget, like forgive and forget. I'm like, that's BS. That's,
mm,
you will remember, you do remember. But at what point do you not like take on that heaviness where you can remember it, but it doesn't affect you anymore? And I think that's where forgiveness really, that's the true definition of forgiveness. I do remember what happened, and I've
mm,
created new boundaries around that so that I don't tolerate that anymore. But
mm-hmm.
not held down by that experience anymore.
Mm.
That's
Yeah,
what forgiveness means to me. Yeah.
I love that. The song that came to mind. Have you ever heard the song by Mary Mary? Shackles on my feet so I can dance. Release the shackles off my feet so I can dance. Okay, so that came through. We were talking about that because just this whole energy of just dancing, and I loved how you explained that you can have boundaries, right, but not be shackled to where you not can still have joy and embrace that. So encourage, like maybe next time when you kind of do one of your dances or something like that, to check Mary Mary out and the whole shackles on my feet. That kind of came through in that regard. So I know that you are in this realm of coaching and developing individuals, and you go by the Sovereign Goddess. That's what you have here on your LinkedIn. Tell me more about that.
So part of my, no, I'm saying part of it, but it's a huge part of my work is helping women to awaken to the truth of who they really are, that unlimited aspect of themselves. But it really moves beyond just knowing that you are powerful, you are brilliant, that whoever, wherever you are, whatever you're going through, you're still a powerful woman, to actually embodying and just knowing it. So
Mm,
that is my journey. It's like bridging those two through connecting women to the higher aspect of themselves, because that is the constant. If you're connected to that source energy, to your higher self, and you bring that energy into your physicality, which, as we talked about, it has been my journey of
mm-hmm.
self-mastery. Like there's nothing in this world that can shake your core, because your core is anchored to your truth. And so that's who a sovereign goddess is. And yeah, I'm very passionate about that. I kind of activate that in women automatically without even knowing I'm doing it.
Well, it's very much because the next one that came out here was Horus, which is the spirit energy from Egypt, and it literally says stability and equilibrium. And I had placed it under the align and centering, and that's very much like you said, staying grounded, staying centered. How can we stay, present? And that you're just doing that automatically. It's not a effort kind of thing, but that's just who you are. And so yeah, so it was definitely aligning with that in that regard. So the woman that would work with you, how would you describe her?
Mm. She is the type of woman who is successful physically. So when it comes to making money, like, is effortless for them.
Hmm.
But they've reached a point where they're realizing that something is missing. Like, they've reached a point where the money is not coming in as quite anymore. They're, what the tools that they used to use to bring clients in is not happening, even though it's worked for years. And what is missing is their spiritual connection. And so they've reached a point where they're being called to bring that into everything that they're doing. And so that's the point where they usually seek me out. And these women, I feel like they know that when they come into my energy, it's not just about woo woo spiritual, I'm getting out of my body, because they're the type of women that understand what it means to be human and create prosperity on this plane. They're not trying to leave their body or live their life. But what they want to know is how they can bridge their spirituality without having to leave being human, because they love being human.
Mm-hmm.
It's this beautiful balance because I get to witness them in terms of how they're able to balance being human and so beautifully. And they get to learn through, watching me and just learning what I teach them, how to also balance or bring down the spiritual aspect so beautifully as well. So there's always like this, it's a dance that we do together. And
Girl,
it
you
goes,
know this dance. Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, it goes beyond like teacher student. It becomes like two sisters dancing together and, helping each other, like mirroring each other. Like I can't even like find the words, but it's like I honor you and where you are, and this is where you can go to where you want to be. And
Yes.
is by watching, and that's how you embody the journey. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's so interesting because I'm going back to what you said, back to the very first card, right? And you notice the theme again is a line. All the coins are aligned. And going back to what it says about who is resonating with you.
Yeah.
And it said on the card, remember, financial security for yourself and your family, inheritance or retirement, peace and contentment in life, honoring family traditions, pride in the family tree, passing on knowledge. And so it was still connected. What was so resonating with you, that card that we didn't even talk about that time, was the money and the alignment and how those individual and the women's, like there was a point that, yeah, I got all my stuff together and all those different things, but maybe it's gotten out of,
Yeah.
misalignment. But
Yes.
here you're able to come back and help them recentered. They're facing the conflict, maybe saying that I'm not enough, how to rebuild that. And
Yes.
so then I was like, okay, what is this light portal, this gateway that my girl Abigail, and here was back to the starlight, and it says, Sirius, star blessing. Yes, proceed, be seen, push through. And hear what it says. Sirius is the brightest star in the sky and was one of the utmost importance of the ancient Egyptians. In fact, our current new year, which is
Around the corner.
on the corner, was celebrated as the coming of Safedet, the goddess queen of Sirius, as during the last week of December. Can we say chill, because we are filming this the last
At the
week
last week of
of
December.
December? Sirius can be found high in the sky between midnight and dawn. The Sirius system is the home of a race of humanoid beings who most likely live in a dimension higher than their own, which is what you started with, of this higher dimension being that you are. It is believed that these beings can be contacted through spiritual practice. Tuning into them can enable us to receive high frequency and spiritual downloads, which is, again, all what you're talking about. So this card draws the bright light of Sirius and then supports Assyrian star beings into our world. When it comes to us, it helps us to find light in moments of darkness and uncertainty and to continue on. If you're feeling strongly connected to Sirius and its being star beings, it's likely that you are connected to them on a spiritual level. And if you take time to locate the star in the sky, you might even have a sense of coming home. And so it's like that whole a word of gosh, chill. Of just like encouraging with you, like you are this star being, how you talked about, why am I here? What is, like I deal with all this earthly stuff. Let me just learn my lessons so I can go back to
Oh
my
my gosh,
whole,
yes.
my whole spiritual to realm. So connecting with that, guidance is encouraging you this last week of December. If you're not doing that, go back out, connect back with your team, look at home, and just know that yes, eventually I will get back there in all of divine time when I do my work. And the message says, your message comes with this gateway is a giant yes. It brings the energy of wishing on the star and seeing that wish come true. This is a time for you to move forward with any projects or ideas that you have felt called to carry out. This is an energy of positivity, abundance, as you're talking about helping women, and excitement surrounding you at this time. Whatever dreams you have been revisiting recently aren't dreams, but premonitions. Know that whatever you're connected with on the inside is soon to be something you will be experiencing in the physical. So think about what you desire instead of what you fear. See yourself celebrating as if your wildest dreams have come true. As you do so, you'll be creating the perfect energy for them to manifest in your world.
Hmm. I wanted to add the symbol of my soul is the star. Yeah.
Of course it is. Of course it is. And it's interesting because now, as I'm looking, girl, you know, as I was looking at the picture, it's like the same kind of colors and the same bright. Look, hold on, I have to because I'm like it's done over here energetically with this, but I'm literally holding up this card now. Like, yeah, that's like your logo right there. There you are. So I would be surprised. I don't know if you know for sure, but you may be from Star Sirius. Do you know that? Do you know what like star system you're from?
Yes, connected to Sirius, especially when it comes to the Egyptian aspect of it. I know that for sure. And then also Mentakan, my soul is from Andromeda. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there is the connection. They came back to remind you in this last week of December to look back up at them if you hadn't really connected back with them recently, but they just wanted to reach out and say, "Hi, we still see you."
I still see you. Yes, please. I need it. I need that support.
Yes, like we still see you. Well, Abigail, it has been a pleasure connecting and learning more about you. Thank you for being open to having this intuitive conversation. And thank you for those that have watched, and that we do hope that you were encouraged to live smart and ascend to new levels of success. And until we meet again, this has been an all intuitive conversation.